Guys, hope you're having a great day today. This video is going to be all about large family household structure, and I'm going to cover the kitchen. So does this mean that I've got this kitchen thing all figured out, got the most beautiful kitchen out there? Absolutely not. I have learned over the years, we have lived in many different houses. Probably this is our 6th, 7th house that we've lived in, and I've learned many times how to make my house a home because I had to make it my own. And so this video is going to be all about things that you can do, practical things that you can do to make your kitchen more inviting, make your home more inviting on the different rooms that I'm going to be covering, and maybe give some tips on helping maybe improve some things for your kitchen. And I certainly don't have it all figured out. There's many things I can improve upon in my kitchen, many things I'd like to do in my kitchen, but this is what I have for now. So when you think about your kitchen is a central gathering place in your home. This is where you're going to spend the majority of your time. You're going to be cooking 3 meals a day, helping your children probably with schooling, making crafts, and working on projects probably in the zone. So this is an area where Dad first walks in the house and sees his family gathered. It should be a place of peace and not messy chaos. So when you walk into this room, I want you to picture your own kitchen. Is there a place that your eyes are drawn to first? Maybe there's a pile of papers stacked over here from the mail, or maybe there's some appliances everywhere that's just been put out and thrown on your countertop. There's a lot of things in this area that can be a catch-all for accumulation if you're not careful. In my kitchen, I've chosen to keep it as minimal as I can, and so you don't see any appliances except the coffee pot out. Everything is put away. If you can't do that in your home, I totally understand that, but the less on your counters, the better. This is how my kitchen looks majority of the time. Yes, there is, life happening, so it doesn't always look like this, but when I clean my kitchen, this is as empty as it looks. This room has to be accessible and easy to clean because obviously you're going to be in here working and making your family's meals in it a bunch of times a day. And so it's got to be functional as well as adaptable so that it's pleasant for the cook to clean in, because or cook to work in, because if it's a place you got to go to every single day and you don't like it, there's some things you can fix. So some things that I've done over the years is paint. Paint is super inexpensive for what it's going to do for your home, and so what I did is usually go buy a gallon of paint. I haven't painted in here yet because I do like the colors in this wall, but I know in our old house I did not care for it at all, so I went and got like a pale yellow for that color house and just painted the walls. And I got semi-gloss paint, so that's easy to wipe off because there is going to be splashes on your wall. So semi-gloss paint is great because then you can wipe everything off and clean it, because you're going to be doing that an awful lot. And then just something that'll cheer up your walls. So consider getting some paint. That's not much. You can sit there and probably do that in a day, in an afternoon, painting your kitchen walls. I don't have any window treatments on my kitchen because I like to have it open and bright, because this is where I'm at. I like to be able to see things. It's a good place if you have to work on something on the countertop and be able to see really well. So I don't have any window treatments, so that it's just free and open. We did have curtains at one of our houses because we had a really bad window, and it helped because they weren't double insulated window panes, and when the winter came, we shut those curtains to keep our home warm. And so I understand if you need them, but if you don't, take the window treatments off. Some things you can also paint is your wood cabinets. These ones are okay. I think eventually I'll paint these, but I'm just not brave enough to tackle these all wooden cabinets just yet. So one day I will. But I know in our old home we painted ours like a brick red color, and that was beautiful. I painted them, and it made like a huge difference in that kitchen, and I really enjoyed the color of that. So I might just do that in here one day, but just not yet. In this room, also keep your rugs to a minimum. It's very easy to be able to think, oh, I'll get all these rugs for my kitchen, but it's just more things you have to pick up when you sweep, or it's more of a catch-all of things. So for myself, I recommend having foam rug. I have one foam rug here in front of my sink so that when I step on it and I'm washing dishes all day long, it doesn't hurt my feet. And then I don't have any other rugs. I do have one here on the floor in front of my refrigerator because this is where the ice comes out. And if I don't have something here, guess what gets on the floor right there? Water, because the kids get ice cubes out and they drop them on the floor, so this is a catch-all for that. So I have that there. Otherwise, I don't have anything. I don't have anything for my stove. It's just easier to sweep, and that's the only one that's there. I recommend not getting a solid color rug because when someone drops food on it, it stains it, and you see that. So get something with different colors, maybe a different tweed pattern, and then it hides stains much easier. Something else for our family that we noticed was huge was having a big trash can. We always had a 32-gallon big, large outside trash can in the house, and this year I got this off Amazon. I think it was $50, and the best. Opens up, trash is all in there. It's great. I recommend this one hugely on Amazon because it Keeps all your trash, it doesn't look that bad, and it keeps the smells and stuff away. Now when you're setting up your kitchen, or maybe you have it set up and you realize how unorganized or how you want to fix some certain things in your kitchen, so some things to consider is to organize your kitchen better. I know at one time when I just kind of threw things wherever, I took everything out of all my cupboards. This one was way back in the day, and I put everything on the countertop. And then I was able to clean up my cupboards really well and figure out where I wanted everything to stay. My dog is attacking a box over there. So one of the things you can do is organizing your kitchen space better. You don't want to be reaching for one cupboard when you're baking and mix up some cookies and have to go way over here and grab something else. And so it helps to have everything in a centralized location. I know for myself, I keep all my coffee right here. So I have this next to the sink, and this was great because all I had to do was pull the hose out and fill it up, but I found that I don't like it next to the sink. So I just keep it over here. I fill this up every day, a little more inconvenienced. I have my coffee here, and I keep my coffee things right here. I have my teas all up here, so these are all where I keep my tea, right above it. I did have them out on the countertop on this little tray at one time, but I realized it just looks more cluttered. So I just keep these two. This has got my homemade chai tea in it and regular coffee. So every day I refill and make this up. So that's all in one area. Another thing to set up is a baking cupboard. If you can keep your mixer, your all your mixing bowls and your measuring cups and things like that all in one cupboard, that would be awesome. In our old house, I did that with one cupboard. I designated it as a baking cupboard. It was all my mixing supplies, all my anything I would use, even if it was just like a tool, like a whisk and things like that. And that helped hugely when I was going to bake, so I didn't have to go reaching from cupboard to cupboard. Here I have them in a couple different areas just because I don't always use them, but most of them are right here where I'm standing. I have my mixing bowls right below me, and right above that is the drawers where all the utensils are. And then my mixer is off to my hand mixer is off to the right. And so, but I do have my bigger one in another cupboard over here because I don't use that all the time. And so everything is in one area, which helps hugely. If you have one place that you can store all your food, that is probably the best thing you can do, especially like a large pantry. Or we had, even though we had space upstairs, it was a small kitchen in our old house. And so I kept all of our food downstairs except just like a few things upstairs that I was using each day. And so that was great to go down and look at everything and be able to see it all in one spot. And so I recommend putting it all in one area so you can see what you have, you know what you have, you don't have to go, oh, I forgot I had that, or oh, I forgot to have that. And when you put it in your cupboard, put everything so the labels are in the front so you can read them. Stacks certain things right next to each other, all your rice and your pastas next to each other, your canned goods all in a row, maybe, according to all your vegetables, all your beans, all your fruit, things like that. So that way it's all organized in one spot. You don't have to go, oh, I lost it over there. Oh, I lost it over there. For mine, I keep most of mine, all my cans on the bottom, my pastas and rice is in one area, my baking is in one area. So that way when I go to the pantry, I can just quickly glance and see that everything is in one spot. When I find I open up like bags of pasta and bags of rice, sugars, things like that, I used to pinch them closed. If they're a small thing we're going to eat up, I used to pinch them closed. But if I'm not going to be using them for a little bit, I store them in a glass jar, like a mason jar, or a big glass jar, like my kombucha containers, the big giant, I think they're gallon, 2-gallon containers, or like plastic containers. Just make sure you seal them well, because I know those little things, I don't know if you call them pantry moths or what they call them, but they will fly in there and they will find the tiniest crack and get inside and lay eggs in your food and just make a mess. I've had that happen before and I'm like, oh, that's so bad. So make sure all your food is sealed, because you'd be surprised what can get in there when you're not even expecting it. If you live in a humid area, I know like we do, in our home here we have central air and heat, so I don't worry about it getting too humid in the house. But before, we didn't, and I had to keep everything, like my flours and my oatmeals and things like that, in the freezer so they wouldn't go bad. We used to do them in our basement as well. We had a dehumidifier and I was able to keep them down there. You get a large container like we buy, like 25 pounds of popcorn seeds, 50 pounds of flour, things like that. Consider getting buckets to store them in. You can purchase the buckets from like food storage containers, and the lids are impossible to get off, like impossible. They actually sell a special like bucket lid remover, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. And so I found Sam's Club is awesome. You can go to their bakery and they will just give you their containers. So you ask them, they'll give them to you. Sometimes they'll give them to you with frosting, say, I don't care, go home and clean it off. And so those work really, really well. So we enjoy using those for all of our bulk items. When you're storing things in your pantry, use the things that you would most likely use right in the front so that you can see them right there and you can grab them off. The ones that you don't really use, put up on top, because those are, they don't need to be as accessible as the ones that you currently use all the time. Remember, when you go shopping and you purchase things, especially if you buy multiple things, like you bought a couple things of ketchup, always put the new ketchup in the back and the older ketchup in the front. And that, that makes sure that you don't get any expired foods. I would recommend storing your dishes and your plates, things like that, and your glasses in an area where they're right next. I usually put them right by my sink. And so I'm doing dishes right here. This is where we do dishes. We wash and we put them on a drying mat. I also recommend a drying mat instead of a drying rack. I don't even know if they sell those anymore. I used to always have a drying rack and they got so dirty and yucky. These are great. A couple times I can use them and then you just put them in the washer. And so Walmart, I think they're like $5. I think I've got 3 in my rotation and that's all I need for our family. I would recommend putting all your dishes within reach of the person putting away the dishes. So mine is empty because we have to empty they're actually in the dishwasher right now. So I put all of our plates here, our other plates here, the bowls here, and then I keep all my cups right here. And then the next shelf is all of our breakables. We don't have any glass cups, if you've noticed, because in our family I realized they get broken easily. So we put our coffee cups there, and then I have 2 plates of these that go in the microwave and 2 of these that go in the microwave, and that's all we need. Now, how many do you need for a family? In our home, we have exactly 12 plates. So I have 12 plates here, I've got 12 of these ones, and I've got 12 of these ones. And that's all we need because that's all that, if we're all sitting down at the same time, we can have a plate. And then if somebody comes over, we always use paper plates. Well, not usually, it just depends on who's eating, but if we have more people over, we usually just use paper. And that way it saves on having to do dishes, because we used to, all back in the day, I'd wash dishes. And then I'd sit there and be washing dishes after people are there or wait till they leave, and then you have a whole sink full of dishes. And so easier just to have paper thrown away for that little occasion, then you can enjoy the fellowship with people. All of our dishes, if you notice, are made of melamine. I think they're melamine. Melamine is the material. We have found that they do not break as easily. They can break, but not as easily, and they've lasted for a really long time. We like those in a large family because they're sturdy. They remind me of like the cafeteria school material for their plates and stuff like that, and so they just last and are much sturdier. I've had these for, well, I just got these new this year, but the last set I had them for 6 years that we moved here, and the only reason I replaced is because I wanted to have turquoise, and I saw those at Big Lots. I would skip away with all the expensive dinnerware. I know when we were married, we picked out that $20 place setting and had it all so perfect. But I also remember the first time I dropped that place set on the floor and it broke, and I'm like, oh my goodness, because I knew I wasn't going to replace that for $20. So we used to have another set for extra dishes, but I realized, you know what? Why do that? It's like much rather focus on just the fellowship with people and things like that. And so we always just use paper or plates when we have a big gathering with people, and then we have enough plates for all of us to eat off of these. And plus, it's one more thing you have to store. I would rather focus on purchasing like nice platters and special bowls, things like that, that we can use for our meals. And then glasses are also nice, but not with children. We have had our share of broken glasses over the years, so we use the restaurant quality tumblers. And so, think of like when you go, they're like these, they're plastic. And so these work great for what we need. And most of the time, everybody's drinking from their water bottle, so we don't usually use those for anything, but people come over, or if somebody doesn't have their water bottle or something, we're having like milk for dinner, then they use that. Your under the sink storage spots, that's where I usually place all my cleaners. Now, when I had little kids, I did have locks on my cabinets under the sink because I didn't want them going into there, but I always stored my cleaners up in a tall counter, because I never knew if someone could just get in there and break it. So if you have little ones, keep your stuff up. There's no reason to have it down low if you have little ones, just because accidents can happen. You can't be everywhere all the time. But now my kids know enough not to go in there and drink the poison or touch the poison. So we keep ours under the sink in a designated area. I have a nice pull-out basket that they're all stored in, and then I keep everything in one spot. And so now when I need my stuff, I go right there and get everything. I don't have to go searching to different cabinets. Everything is right there in one area. And then I know also we keep our plastic bags under there. A good way to, how do you organize those? Because you have so many grocery bags, and we use ours for bathroom trashes, like a liner. So take like a child's sock, or I'm sorry, like leggings, I think the girls' leggings, and I cut them off, and you can just put a ponytail at the end. You can hot glue the end together if you didn't want to sew, and then just stuff them full of bags in there, and they're easy to pull out. It's a lot nicer mess than just having them thrown under your sink for, that kind of thing. And then these little things right here, these are usually wasted space on the front. You can get these things where you install them and you can store things inside of them. So that's what we do. We keep our brushes in here and our scrubbers that we don't use all the time in there. If not, I would stick it on the bottom in a spot. Keep your drawers organized and simple. I know for us, I got this divider on Amazon. I think they sell them at Walmart too, but we keep all of our spoons here, all of our forks, our knives all go in here. If I had little ones, these would not be in here, and they would be, I used to always keep them on a container on my counter, but my little ones know not to touch them. And these are all our serving spoon. Keep clothespins in here for this one of our drawers. This one, these are the utensils I don't use as much, and I keep all our spoons right in here. And so these are just things that we've used over the years that we keep. I don't keep everything. I usually go through and clean out if I haven't used it in a year, but everything in here we pretty much use. So this is how I keep our utensils, but everything, I see all my spoons, I would keep a tablespoon and a teaspoon. If you need half, you would use half of it. If you need a quarter, use a quarter of it instead of having a whole thing. So that's all I use on that. We use our cookie scooper because I use that, my little flipper. There's a meat thermometer. I keep the fork in there. These are extra scissors. Now, large spoons and large utensils can get very stuck in the drawers when you open them, and I don't like that at all. So I keep mine in this. I used to have a large speckled, like a camping coffee pot type thing on my counter, and that's what I used forever, and then I've just got yucky over the years, and so I use these. I just spray painted some mason jars, put some twine on it, they're come a little loose here, and put them inside this container, and that's where I keep the ones that I use all the time. So that's in here, and that's right next to my stove, because when I'm cooking, I just pull out a spoon. Now remember, don't keep like miscellaneous things in your drawers. Don't keep notepads and pens and paper clips in your drawers. Keep those in your designated office area. Only keep in your kitchen like a notepad and a pen for writing things down. I have my homeschool cupboard right here. So everything for us is in here. It might be a mess. So we keep everything right here. So I can grab my pencils and my little pad section. My daughter likes to clean this cupboard out. So she puts my paper right in the back there. And so this is where the kids can come get all their little craft things organized, the Play-Doh, things like that. We've got paper for them and their homeschool stuff. This is all in one area. A little bit easier for them to get to. So I can usually just grab my pen and paper right there. When you purchase your washcloths and towels, make sure they fit in your drawers. Nothing worse than trying to shove everything in a drawer. For us, we keep our washcloths in the top drawer. There's just a few more in here. I tried putting them together with the towels, but they don't all fit, so there's space here, and that's okay. I'd much rather have washcloths. Then our next one is all our towels. So these are all hand towels that we use. And then my third drawer, which there's nothing in here, but that's where I keep my drying pads in here. And then our bottom drawer is our rag drawer. So this is where I keep all of our extra rags, things that we use for cleaning, and also our pads for our steam mop. Don't keep any cleaning rags with your regular ones or they'll get messed up. What we do is we take a black permanent marker and make a big X on them or things like that, because we use a lot of our towels for our business. And so when they get all raggy, and so I'll have my daughter write the word, business on them, or a big X, so that way when we wash them, I don't go, is this an old towel or is this a new towel? And so sometimes it's hard to tell. And so I will do that with ours, just a permanent marker, and then it stays on. If your cupboards inside are kind of yucky, because that can happen very often, especially where you're using cups with water or they get sticky, clean them out real good. You can get some shelf liner paper and put that on the inside of your cupboards, and that makes it nice and neat. Now in our last house here, I thought they were genius, because inside their cupboards, they put pieces of linoleum, floor linoleum. Awesome. It wiped out so well when I was cleaning. It literally just wiped off and it came off so quick. So I was like, if you had extra linoleum or like little floor tiles, things like that, that was awesome in my cupboards. But if you can just get some shelf liner paper, that will help just as well. And remember that your kitchen can be a big catch-all for everything. It's very easy for people to come in and put everything on the counter. It's easy for you to throw something on the countertop and not put it away, but try and remember, when people come home with things, put them where they go. When your mail comes in, don't just leave it on the counter. Go put it at your office area where all your stuff is made. If your kids bring stuff in, have them put their things away. Especially when you come home, when you immediately come home, put all your stuff where it needs to go. I know for myself, when I come home, I take my keys and I put them on my little key rack, and my purse and everything I take to my desk and set it there until I go through it and put everything away. The bags and that, we empty our groceries out as soon as we get home and put our bags away, so nothing's left out. So then when you're organizing your appliances, don't keep everything out. If we'll use our blender, we'll use our food processor, and it's nicer, but I realize that I don't need them on the counters all the time, so I keep those away in my cupboards. I use the Lazy Susan one in the corner, and that's where I keep all my appliances, and I just turn it around and grab out the appliances that I need at the time. The only one I keep out is the coffee pot, because we use that every single day. Now you're gonna step back and look at your kitchen. You're gonna say, what areas are your eyes drawn to? For myself, I see my white dishwasher over there because that was the only appliance that I never replaced in my kitchen. And so look back and see. You can even look on the top of your refrigerators, see if there's a big mess up there, if there's something that you need to pick up and improve upon. Is there something that you can put away? Is there something that looks cluttered? Like, I know I was looking at my coffee pot and I realized that stuff over there, I thought, that's a lot of extra mess. I don't need that over there. So I put those things away. Put keys and all your things in your purse. Don't leave things out. Notice what looks messy and pick it up. And it just makes it much more peaceful and calm. You want an inviting place in your kitchen because you're here all the time. And if there's always a mess, if you have appliances sitting out, you have to constantly wipe them out because they get dust on them and food on them and splatters on them. So when you have a straight, clean countertop, all you gotta do is wipe the countertop off really easy. So we just do it this way. I hope that this has given you some inspiration for your kitchen and maybe some things that you can do to help declutter your kitchen maybe a little bit. Go through and make some things that it's gonna make it more warm and inviting, a little bit more organized for yourself. So, okay, I hope you enjoy this and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.